Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be going over the new TWID and the article they just set for abilities and armor. We're going to start with the TWID here because it's a lot shorter, but we're going to go over the trailer as well and then just, talk about all this, and then we're going to get into this behemoth of a dev insight. So yeah, we're going to start with this. This week in Bungie, we're going to go over the Monument of Triumph trailer. The dev insights, we're gonna go over those, some of the rewards, and yeah, so we're gonna start with the trailer here. So
Thank you, God.
I'm actually just gonna watch this on YouTube, so I don't have to deal with all the weirdness that comes with embedding videos. All right, here we go.
Because of you, what was unraveling is suddenly stabilizing.
So just some preamble, some new armor we'll see later on. But I'm going to pause this every once in a while just to show off some stuff.
Remembering what came before, reassessing our present, and readying ourselves for the future. The Traveler has nestled above the last city once again.
So it looks like they're just kind of ending the story weirdly. It's unfortunately how it's going to be. So just some returning weapons you can see here. I'm not quite sure if this is, so this is some of the activity. I'm not sure if this is new. This might be an old returning gun. I'm not 100% sure. We're going to go over this in the article, but that's one of the new grenades. This is the Season Pass exotic, I think. It's a void hand cannon that shoots like, last word. New grenade. I mean, obviously it's just some Pantheon returning. You can see some of the bosses here that are coming. Galeron, obviously. Callus. And whatever his name is. This thing. Yeah. Once again, talk about that. There's some crazy cool stuff coming. New Warlock ability. These were teased on Twitter, a couple of the abilities, but I didn't make a video on it because I knew they were probably coming in this article. And then obviously Sparrow Racing League is coming. This looks pretty cool. Oh, and yeah, some new armors here coming. So very cool armors here that we'll also go over as well. New Hive-themed armor. Very neat. All right. So yeah, so that is the end of that. So we're going to get further into this here. Obviously it tells you to read the dev insights if you haven't already. We're going over the last one today. So here are the rewards here. So return of the previously limited Chatterwhite, Super Black, Griffin, and All-Star Vector Skimmer. So a few, shaders and stuff like that. Weapon ornaments per class, and this is beyond the armor updates to other vendors. So that's cool. Universal helmet ornaments, flaming helmet. First earnable hollow chip, which is cool. That's like those extra effects you can have on your character. The return of faction ornaments, which is super cool. Weapon ornaments for turncoats, our new reward pass exotic hand cannons. So yeah, no first curse unfortunately, but turncoat is the name of the new exotic. So it looks pretty cool. Fafnir and Heir Apparent exotic weapons. So Heir Apparent, isn't that the name of the... Yeah, that's the name of that. I think that's just returning, right? But Fafnir is completely new, so we're getting, it's a linear fusion rifle, which is kind of cool. A selection of endlessly purchasable engrams for tiered weapons from Lawless and Reclamation, Pinnacle Ops, Dawning, Fossil Loss, weapons armor from the Solstice event, so ways to farm those up, even though those events won't be coming back. So yeah, so completing triumphs will help you, you'll get legendary marks, so those are returning from Deep 1. So you can, buy ornaments, ghost ships, sparrows, this type of thing. As you can see, there's a Fafnir, and Heir Apparent machine gun here. These are just straight up the weapons it looks like you can buy from the featured rewards. Super very cool. Obviously different types of engrams to buy the weapons and armor, cosmetics. Another one here. or other example of the tenants that they're doing or whatever, and super black, very cool. Some cool looking armor here, some like fallen themed and armor right here, which is kind of cool. Just a bunch of different sets. Now we've got Immortal Legends set. This is very cool. You'll be able to earn this by completing the Immortal title, so there's going to be armor that is and rewards tied to actually playing the game. Very cool. This is the new flaming helmet. And yeah, so it looks like what he's holding in this might be a new exotic as well that they didn't show here. It could be an ornament for the Fafnir or for an existing exotic we just don't know about yet. Or we don't know what it looks like yet. But I'm thinking it may be just another new exotic, which is kind of cool. Because usually you hold the kinetic weapon, and I don't think this looks like it's a void. At least by the purple, it looks like it's a void linear. So we'll see. So yeah, that is pretty cool. So yeah, and then they just go over Bungie Foundation. We're gonna get this new emblem for returning players and stuff like that. Very cool. Yeah, and then you get this if you've been playing for a long time, so that'll be cool to have. Yeah, so that is about it for that. Just going over kind of some of the reward tracks you'll be able to work towards for the rest of the game's time. So here is the big thing. This is gonna take a long time. It is a very big article. This is the abilities and armor preview. So this is gonna go over new subclass abilities, reworks, balance changes, armor archetype, set bonuses, exotic armor stats, and balancing preview. So we're just gonna get right into this. I'm gonna try to go over as much as I can here because this is like the big stuff. This is gonna be a lot. Some of this is pretty meta defining. Some of it's just like it's cool, and some of it's whatever. So yeah. So we've got new solar and void aspects for Titan. You're getting shield burst. I'm gonna read what this does here. So it will enhance your equipped barricade. So the towering barricade, your barricade slides forward across the ground before stopping, allowing you to advance safely. And rally barricade, standing behind your barricade grants scorching rounds to you and your allies, solar and kinetic weapons. And while your barricade is deployed, activating your class ability again will remotely detonate it. Scorching combatants caught in the detonation. Dealing damage increases the power of the blast. So yeah, it looks like it's just becoming a grenade, another grenade, which is kind of cool. As well as rally barricade being something that is just going to be brought for damage, just to, if anyone's using any type of weapons for ignitions, it's going to be good for that. So very, and kinetic weapons too. So very interesting. Just another thing, kind of like Bolt Charge Titan. Obviously with the artifact coming back, you can pick the one that heals you with Bolt Charge or whatever. So it looks like Titans are going to be just very solid, just for damage and buffing team. Here's the throwing out the tight barricade. So very cool. I showed the other one as well, but it's just shooting. Sorry, that's a bit loud. I should turn that down a little. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. Yeah, so very cool. Yeah, it's just creates sunspots while paired with Sol Invictus, and damage from this ability also scales with your class stats, so that's cool. Yeah, so in addition to the Monument of Triumph, you'll find that other class ability aspects that deal damage now scale the damage with class stat. So that brings us right into Crackshot for Solar Goldie, Hunter, excuse me. It is an ability that gets rid of your dodge and allows you to do this. So yeah, it's just another way to do some damage, another interesting way to use your class ability. Very cool. And obviously there will be some exotic armors that combo with this one, including Radiant Dance Machines and 6 Coyote, which, obviously makes sense. Next is Void Warlock's Soul Siphon. Once ready, press your melee ability to begin siphoning energy from all combatants in front of you, dealing damage and gathering overshield and class ability energy from each target. This is what this one looks like. It's pretty cool. I don't know how well this, or like how good this will be, because it's kind of slow. But it's pretty cool. Yeah, so you'll like life drain, kind of like a vampire. Very cool. Next is the new stasis grenade. Now this isn't just on Hunter, this is on all the classes. But it's kind of like almost like an impact nade that shoots out shrapnel and bounces around. It looks very potent. Same thing with Thread Runner here, the slice wire grenade. Shout that off as well. Just very cool grenades, much needed needed additions to the kit. Next is the Night Stalker melee. This is Phantom Surge. Dash forward, slashing combatants as you pass through them. It deals significantly increased damage to void debuffed targets and targets marked by on the prowls. And generates void overshield on each combatant hit. Defeating at least one combatant grants additional overshield and refunds some melee ability energy. So, if you've got big groups of enemies, it could probably just refund the melee. This is what this one looks like. Yeah, I mean, even, what was that, 2 combatants killed? 2 combatants killed gave half the melee back. So, it will probably be spammable, which is kind of cool. Just another melee type build for hunters. Instead of on arc, it's on void, which is kind of cool. Very cool. Ability reworks here. So Trapper's Ambush. Activate your air move to consume your class ability energy and dive into the ground, damaging targets on impact. Damage is greatly increased if striking while you have a positive void status. Devour, Overshield, that type of thing. Damaging enemies with this ability heals you and defeating combatants with this ability grants Devour. So hunters have a way to get Devour now, without having to pick up an orb. I guess it's a little bit harder, but but got a cool fancy new animation. You see they got Devour off of that, which is very cool. Next is Ward of Dawn. You can now pick it up. Ward of Dawn owners now also gains increased melee damage while inside, and you pick up and throw the Ward of Dawn's core. So this will allow you to move it around for bosses that require it, like the one in Root of Nightmares or Caretaker, that type of thing. Any plate-based boss fight, Callus. So, he's doing whatever. Pick up Ward of Dawn. Kind of becomes a bubble, and you can throw it. And looks like its radius is fucking massive now. It's kind of cool. Yeah. Next is Warlock Broodweaver Mindspun Invocation Threadling Grenade. It's been reworked, so now it becomes a little nest, kind of like Service of Luzaku, and just spits out a bunch of Threadlings. Next, we're going on to Stasis proper, so Shatterer Shards. All Stasis subclasses now create Shatter Shards intrinsically. Shatter Shards are created when a Stasis Guardian shatters a Stasis Crystal or a frozen enemy, or when they defeat a slowed or frozen enemy. So that's cool. Harvest Aspects. Harvest Aspects give you Frost Armor when you pick up a Shatter Shard. Well, you have Frost Armor. Defeating the enemy with a Stasis or Kinetic Weapon has a chance to shatter the enemy, dealing damage around the shattered enemy. Well, you have Frost Armor. Taking damage now grants ability energy for Titan's melee, Warlock Grenade, and then the Hunter its class. So that's kind of cool, I guess. This is going to be to combat some other stuff we'll talk about down the road here. Reduce fragment slots from 3 to 2, but that is what it is. Frost Armor now stacks melt off one by one instead of all at once. So, just how they've been kind of doing everything now. And the damage resist at 5 stacks has been increased from 31 to 35, so that's really good. Damage resist is kind of the play, so yeah. While using a Stasis subclass, you can now create Shatter Shards without a Harvest Aspect. The Harvest Aspect will continue to get Frost Armor when you pick up a Stasis Shard and grant a powerful benefit when you have Frost Armor. Meanwhile, Frost Armor stacks now fall off one at a time. Yeah, just kind of a summary. Ability balance changes here. Alongside the new ability reworks, we've packed a ton of other ability balance changes into this release. Yeah, so first we got Warlock. So Dawnblade Heat Rises. Well, Heat Rises is active. It now reduces the accuracy of combatants, so kind of like Ascension. Heat Rises no longer decreases the initial bursts of speed provided by activating Burst Glide, so that's pretty cool. Icarus Dash now has 3 slots from 2. Stormcaller Chain Lightning the melee increases damage by 100% and now has 2 ability charges by default. Just cool. Lightning Surge now has 3 fragments instead of 2. Void Walker, so Child the Old Gods, now suppresses combatants for a short time after initial attach. increases the child's max speed and acceleration by 100%, increases fragment slots from 2 to 3. That's just kind of a common thing you'll see for a lot of this stuff, is just they're giving us more fragments, which is cool. Nova Bomb, so Cataclysm. Allied projectiles now pass through the Nova Bomb, which is awesome. You can now run this in a team setting and not be yelled at. It's awesome. Shadebinder, so Frost Pulse, now grants 5 stack of Frost Armor if this ability freezes a target, and increase fragment slot. If it has that, I'll just quickly mention it, but yeah, obviously. Brood Reaver, so the Wanderer, Threatening Final Blows now reduce your Tangle cooldown by a second, so more Tangles. Titan here, getting a hell lot of buffs. Sentinel, Offensive Bulwark. The player has a Void Overshield, Final Blows. Now create. Excuse me. Where I don't even, now Final Blows now grant melee ability energy. Unbreakable aspect, Final Blows with Unbreakable's blast now grants Devour. Slight increase the size of the blast. Bastion increases the fragment slots. Shield Bash increases damage versus combatants by 100%. Striker, Thruster can now be active while airborne, which means you just get Twilight Garrison for free. Knockout no longer grants a lunge range increase versus enemy players. That's for PvP. Touch of Thunder, so Lightning Grenade now grants 5 stacks of bolt charge per hit. Flashbang Grenade now explodes on initial bounce in addition, so that's cool. Good way just to immediately flashbang something in PvE for like the stun or whatever. Storm Grenades increases storm duration by half a second. Increases maximum tracking speed by 38%. Increases time to reach max tracking speed by 25%. And then the Seismic Strike is also getting buffed by 100%. Same with Hammer Strike, which, those are all the shoulder charge abilities. So, yeah. Behemoth, Diamond Lance. Reduce the size of the freeze detonation from thrown Diamond Lances in PvP. Sliding while you have Frost. This is Cryoclasm. Sliding while you have Frost Armor now launches a Stasis Wave that shatters Stasis Crystals and frozen enemies in front of you. Glacial Quake, Heavy. Oh, wow. So this mixed with Blast Waves mixed with the SRL gear that gives you Jolt when you slide is going to be crazy. There's going to be a crazy sliding build on Titan. Glacial Quake, heavy attacks now deal additional damage in the area in front of the Titan, so more damage on the super. Berserker, Drager's Lash aspect. Defeating elementally debuffed targets now grants class ability. Increase fragment slot. The suspending wave impact damage now scales with your class ability stat if it's above 100%. Hunters now, Night Stalker on the prowl. In addition to acquiring a target when you become invisible, it will now passively acquire a target after a short time if you're not invisible, so just to get it rolling, which is kind of cool. Obviously, it doesn't happen in PvP. Mobius Quiver, reduce maximum Mobius Quiver buff to crossbow weapons by 50%. We're going to talk about, at the very end of all this, we're going to talk about this. Hunters are gutted. There's a bunch of cool stuff that they're getting, but in terms of damage, fuck me, man. It's going to be rough for a little bit until we find something viable for them. Gunslinger, Acrobat's Dodge can now be activated while airborne. That's kind of cool. Proximity Explosive increases detonation size from 5 to 6 meters and detonation damage by 11%. On your mark, it now grants Solar Restoration ×1 for 3 seconds instead of Cure after Final Blows at 10 stacks. So that's cool. So you just get constant heal instead of a quick one. Knock him down now grants Cure on super activation. That's just weird. I don't know. Blade Barrage increases knife projectile speed and tracking. Increased knife detonation size from 3 to 4.25 meters. Increased knife detonation damage by 10. Knife detonation now scorch enemies. Deadshot is reduced super energy aim from players. Whatever. We're gonna talk more about Blade Barrage later. Arc Staff now gets bolt charge on kill. Lethal Current now jolts and creates an aftershock when used with Tempest Strike. Can now be activated while in super. Very cool. Ascension detonates enemies. Detonation damage now scales with your class stat, so more damage on that. Now counts as a class ability for all perks and abilities. Yes, so nice. Thread Runner, Rope Dart. Successfully catching the Rope Dart now grants Woven Mail based on the number of targets defeated, which already makes one of my favorite hunter builds where it's just like DR even better. So nice. Widow Silk, more slots. Threaded Spectre. The Spectre's detonation damage now scales with the class ability. Sarin Slam now counts as a class ability for all the perks and abilities. These are the general abilities we're going to go over. There's quite a bit here. Grenades, lightning grenade, increase the detonation damage by 25%. Scatter nades reduces chase distance versus players, and reduce the amount of grenade energy this ability gains from perks by 12.5. Grapple, so another nerf to hunters basically. Against boss combatants, reduce max grapple melee damage bonus granted by grenade stat by 50%. Against boss combatants, damage bonus granted by grenade stat and melee stat is now additive instead of multiplicative. So yeah, just getting kind of sauced here. Multi-charge abilities in PvP only, so whatever. Stasis, Whisper of Rhyme, max frost armor stacks reduced from 8 to 7. And the damage resist has been rescaled to provide the same max benefit. So this is like a buff. Arc, Spark of Shock. When Jolt is applied via Arc Soul or an Ion Sentry, there's now a 4-second internal cooldown for applying Jolt again. This probably could have just stayed on Arc Soul. Like, the main reason they did this, I'm assuming, is because the buddy build is so popular, like with whatever they're called, the gauntlets that do that on Warlock. But like Ion Sentry, like, I don't think they needed to do it on there, but I guess maybe it was just a sweeping change for it, like they share the same code or something. Void Invisibility made Void Invisibility more visible in PvP, which is whatever. Volatile Rounds now increases weapon damage versus champions by 10%, and it no longer stuns barriers. But there's a reason for that. It's because every weapon type is getting some sort of stun, like intrinsic to it, so it makes sense. Solar, obviously no longer stuns barriers, increases the damage against champions by 10%. Faceted Dominance on Prismatic. When Jolt is applied via an Arc Soul, there's now so it just says it again. And then ability stats, reduce maximum passive ability cooldown bonus granted by ability stats by 20%, and maximum active ability cooldown bonus granted by ability stats from 190 to 225. We are going to be getting less abilities now. We're going to be be a little bit more focused on guns because they're buffing, you know, how much damage things do. And same thing with supers here. No more going crazy with, you know, building up super regen, because reduce super energy generation from dealing damage to bosses by 60%. There will no longer be like multi-boss or multi-super boss phases, most likely, unless it's a super long boss phase, which mixed feelings about, but it's probably needed. We're a little powerful. Next is armor here. This is where it gets a little bit crazy for some of the things here. First off, they are giving us new pairings here, and this is going to be it. We've got health grenade, melee weapons, grenade class, super health, class melee, and weapon super, which is the powerhouse one. But a lot of this stuff will start, like dropping alongside your other ones. It's going to be the same type of grind, especially now that the armor mods on your Ghost, it's a 1 in 2 chance to get the stat pool you wanted instead of the 1 in 3. So that's nice. Now we're going with exotic armor. So every single piece of Armor 3.0 exotic armor pieces, including past ones that you have now, so it's retroactive, will be tier 5 statted. So expect a giga buff to all exotics in terms of stats. Very nice. Armor set bonuses, they are nerfing Smoke Jumper from 50 to 40%. And then buffing the Epic Desert Perpetual Armor with whatever. Not a lot of people use that. This is some new sets. Nessus, when the 2-piece on the Nessus one, when your shields become broken, collect all nearby orbs of power and ammo bricks. Interesting. The 4-piece, whenever you gain, lose, or spend an arm charge, heal, and gain damage reduction for a short time. This is crazy. Because, I mean, that's basically whenever you pick up an orb. So this plus, like, Ferropotent or even Smoke Jumpers would be nuts. But this effect also scales with the amount of armor charge gain, loss, or spent. So if you're doing, like, special finishers, and you lose 3. It's crazy. This one from Throne World here, performing a finisher on a combatant or landing successive powered melee final blows generates an elemental pickup based on your light subclass, and that's the 2-piece. And then the 4-piece is performing a finisher on a powerful combatant, heal you and generate loyal void moths, so they'll give you overshield. Okay, so now we are going on to the exotic armor preview, and there's a lot of this, and this is it after all these, so we're gonna go through these real fast here. All right, so first off, Wormhusk Crown, solar multi-kills grant burning souls while active. Solar ability damage is increased, and dodging greatly clears the player and nearby allies. It's, it's whatever. I don't think that's going to be too crazy, but we'll see. Shards of Galanor, landing 5 out of the 7 knives in a volley during Super causes a delayed solar explosion and releases solar shrapnel. This can happen with each volley of super knives. Landing both explosion is approximately comparable to a Keras Thunder Crash. So there's a good chance, even though everything else on Titan is getting gutted, or excuse me, on Hunter's getting gutted, this will be the play. This is what you're going to want to use on Hunter now. I think just a quick pop of damage, and then whatever your damage rotation ends up being for the update. So yeah, it looks like Solar Hunter is going to be the play now and forever in terms of damage. Caliban's Hand increases the damage the melee recharge bonus by 25%. Dealing damage with the Scorch now refunds a small amount of melee energy. Ignition final blows fully refund knife energy and can overflow into an additional charge. Very nice. Good. Add clear. Frosties are getting stacks of frost armor whenever you sprint, and while you have frost armor, stasis weapons deal increased damage, so it's just becoming like a stasis focused pair of boots, which makes sense, Frosties. Shinobu's Vow is interesting as well. Now gain skip grenade energy when you gain a stack of bolt charge, so behind a Titan barricade. Skip grenades damage now grants bolt charge, so more bolt charge. So just spamming grenades. When you gain full bolt charge, heal yourself and nearby allies and enable enhanced skip grenade. Enhanced skip grenades bounce 2 additional times before detonating, releasing bonus skip seekers per bounce. So this also might be a damage option if you're paired up, especially with a Titan with the bolt charge, or with what is it called? Whatever gives you bolt bolt charge when you have your barrier up. So you're just gonna be chucking skip grenades. I feel this is gonna be pretty good as well. I'm probably going to make a build with this as well. So yeah, Raiden Flux Arc Staff now jolts targets, and combo finisher Palm Blast now gets 1.5x the base exotic's damage bonus, and reports as critical damage. So you'll get yellow numbers. Mothkeeper's Wraps now provide moth grenades as a conditional override instead of a complete override. Getting kills with any source, enhances the encounter. The amount added to the counter per kill depends on the rank of the enemy. Once the counter reaches 6, you gain 2 moth grenade charges until they are used. And all current functionalities and synergies with moth grenades will remain the same. So yeah, increases the movement speed of arc moths. By both moths have the same grenade, will now attempt to target separate enemies, allies if possible. So they're just becoming a little bit harder to use in terms of the moths. You need to build up the moths first, but that's okay. Lucky Pants are getting destroyed. Increases Ariana's Vow maximum damage bonus to 4.5. So I guess that's not gonna really be for damage. It's gonna be good for killing champions and high health enemies now. Decreases Uncivil Discourse's maximum damage bonus to 2.5x and reduces the Lucky Pants bonus damage versus bosses by 33%. Found dead in the ditch with the Hunter. We're still wearing them. Titan Exotics, Hellfire Heart. Well, your Solar Super is charged. Final blows cure you and give you stacks of Sunfire Furnace. While Sunfire Furnace is active, grenade and shield burst final blows trigger an ignition. Each stack increases grenade regen, class ability regen, and super damage. Upon exiting your super, all stacks are converted into super energy, and decreases the ability regen bonus from 3.5x to 2.5. So we'll have to see. This is just one of those things where you just got to go and see and play with it a little bit. We will see. Pyrogale slight increases super cyclone scorch per tick, explosion damage by 10, and tracking by 40. So we'll see. Star Eater, Spirit of Star Eater increases the Spirit of Star Eater benefit for Twilight Arsenal from 25 to 50%. It is back. So we have Titans have a ranged super that does a bunch of damage. Now, this is going to be excellent, excellent, excellent for any range type bosses. Something like Callus, once that comes back, Galeron, that type of thing. So yeah, this is going to be very nice to mess around with now, and will probably be part of the meta. Severance Enclosure, improved occlusion on the detonation, making it easier to hit with. Remove the effect that prevents combatants from being hit by multiple shockwaves in a short period of time. Enemies hit by the shockwave are disoriented for a short time. So yeah. Practice Investment, increase melee attack damage by 500%. You get more jet fuel by both melees and weapon kills. And now Knockout counts as a powered melee hit. And the, what's it called? The jetpack flight experience is a lot better. No backup plans. This is getting a big rework here. Yeah, so now triggers and benefits off of both shotguns and melees. This is going for all classes or subclasses now. It's not just Void anymore. Shotgun and melee final blows now start health regen instead of granting a Void Overshield. Shotgun or melee final blows extend the timer of any active defensive buffs you have. So that's Void Overshield, Resto, Amplification, Frost Armor, and Woven Mail. Will now partially heal Void Overshield upon activation if this extension is if the player has one. So, if you're still doing it on Void, it will give you shield as well. And the shotgun damage bonus is now active when you have any of the above noted defensive buffs. So any of those buffs, you'll have shotgun damage. Very cool. Cadmus Ridge Lance Cap now can also spawn stasis lances with rapid stasis weapon damage and final blows, even when they are not behind a barricade. Now grants bonus stasis lance damage based on your current stacks of frost armor. Point contact cannon brace, activating thunderclap now also releases lightning strikes as you start winding up the punch, so it's to keep things off of you. Pretty cool. Lightning strike damage now scales further based on how long the thunderclap is charged for, up to 2x. This stacks with the bonus damage from casting while amplified. Reworked melee regen from lightning strike kills to compensate for the new wave of bolts on charge up. No longer target tiered, flat amount has been increased to compensate. Should see larger returns on average, so you'll just be fucking spamming them. And then the most interesting thing here, Helm of Saint 14. So unchanged, the Weapons of Light continues to persist for the wearer and for allies upon leaving the Ward of Dawn. And there's some new VFX for that. And it no longer disorients enemies or blocking with Sentinel shield when they walk through it. And the new functionality, when Weapons of Light is active, kills or sustained damage from any sorts now grants stacks of the Saint. Under the same circumstances, void and kinetic damage sources will also now suppress in a radius around the victim. Picking up your Ward of Dawn consumes all accrued stacks of the Saint and then extends your Ward of Dawn's duration based on how many stacks were consumed. So if you're in a very long damage phase and you're moving around a lot, there's a good chance you have an infinite bubble for that entire thing. And Helm of Saint 14's synergy with a specific exotic weapon has also been adjusted. They're talking about the bubble glaive, I believe. We'll see what that does. ACD feedback fence no longer provides any melee damage resist versus players. That's good for PvP. Blast Wave, the Blast Wave Striders adjusts the projectiles to mirror that of the Renegade's Behemoth Walker stasis detonation. Decreases defeats to charge meter. Increases tracking strength, and some fixes. So yeah, these will just be fun with all the slide buff things that we're getting for whatever reason. It'll be fun to play those. Next, and certainly not least, Warlocks, who are also eating big. Nezarec Sin, new effect. Targets damaged by Soul Siphon, the new melee, or aspect, or whatever it is, are suppressed. Defeating suppressed targets or with Soul Siphon grants an additional 1.5 seconds of Abyssal Extractors. Metadoxia increases the suspension burst damage from super combined by 22%. This makes it equal to a Cuirass Thunder Crash. So Warlocks once again getting a massive buff to something that was already pretty good. This is just gonna be a great burst damage option. Skull of Dire Ahamkara, new effect. After casting a Nova Bomb, you'll get a short period during which you can cast a Nova Bomb Lance. Destroying a Cataclysm Nova Bomb with a Nova Bomb Lance creates a Nova Vortex alongside the Cataclysm Nova Bomb Seekers. So just fucking crazy Nova Bomb stuff. 2 Nova Bombs back to back. Unchanged super energy on Nova Bomb final blows and weapon final blows will while you have Devour, so that's a new effect that they have for a little bit. The additional damage resist while casting Nova Bomb has been removed from the perk text, but remains as a hidden functionality to help the new play patterns sing. Yeah, so cool. Crown of Tempest, increase the duration of conduction times in PvE from 7 to 10 seconds. New effect, while you have at least one stack of conduction times, Ionic Sentry creates a storm grenade when it is deployed. Very cool. Mantle of Battle Harmony, also going to be very good. Now can trigger its super energy gain or weapon damage bonuses on sustained weapon damage in addition to final blows. After casting your super, now gains surges for all elements and weapons matching your super's damage type, causes detonations when hitting targets for the moderate duration. So this once again is just gonna be so busted. It's gonna, I'm thinking Mediodoxia, Mantle of Battle Harmony are gonna be some things you're gonna want to watch out for doing damage and whatnot. Astrolite Verse, new effect. While both this helmet and blink are equipped, you can now use your air move input to perform a dark blink horizontally in any direction. It has a longer cooldown in Crucible, and blinking or dark blinking now grants volatile rounds in addition to volatile explosion. So they just give Icarus Dash to Void Warlock as well. Holy shit. Dawn Chorus now increases your Scorch. Now causes your Scorch to build to an even more intense ignition. Now grants melee energy for dealing ignition damage in addition to Scorch damage. Remove the internal cooldown on energy gains from Scorch damage and return gains to return slightly more energy overall. Now causes Daybreak projectiles to always immediately trigger in ignition. So might be pretty good for just about everything. Very, very cool. Maybe like this and Mantle Harmony, maybe like swap thing, maybe, depending on if you're using the super from Dawn Chorus or not. Yeah. Nothing Manacles. Extra Seekers can no longer chain off themselves. Reduces Extra Seekers duration from 4 to 3. Reduces range and lifetime of Extra Seekers. So these were just kind of broken right now, but that's, yeah. Controverse Hold. Reduces energy returns will use with Magnetic Grenade. Handhold Supernova by 15%. Yeah, and that's to not, do the health chunking. And Demo Fusion is now a recurrent point of feedback in the Crucible, allowing far too easy kill speed. Yeah, so it's for PvP. But yeah, that is it, finally. There are some crazy things in here. I'm thinking... So Hunters, I think, will be realistically okay with Shinobu's Vow. Like, if this is a big enough change, being able to like, remember like the old Thunder Heart of Immos Light Thunder Grenade spam that Titans used to be able to do. It might be that, but for Hunters with skip grenades instead. So we gotta wait and see if that's good. And then same with Shards of Galanor. This is going to, every class now has a Curus Thunder Crash ability, or super exotic. So there's a good chance this will be kind of what you do. You'll do this, you'll bring like reload buffs to your team, radiant buffs to your team with like acrobatics, dodge, or whatever, and just whatever rotation you're bringing. It's just a pop super. It makes sense. And then I still think they're okay. They have got some decent stuff. Titans are just getting good changes across the board. I mean, just reverted nerfs. I mean, they're going to be so good with like some of the artifact mods. Titans have always like benefited real well from good artifact mods. And then Warlocks, I mean, just insanity. They're just getting so many things. Mediodoxia is going to be good. Skull of Direham Kara for double Nova Bombs. Mantle of Battle Harmony is just insane. I mean, getting another Icarus Dash is crazy. Dawn Chorus is going to be good. Like, there's very little to complain about here besides maybe some Hunter stuff, but it's definitely a wait and see for me. So that is basically it, and obviously a bunch of really cool stuff, like to do wise, not just like fixes or changes. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys are playing. Please play June 9th. Show Bungie, show Sony that everyone wants a Destiny 3 or some sort of continuation to the series. Please. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you June 9th.